Welcome to 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. I'm Tony Scott, and thank you for tuning in to our weekly show. Today's show is brought to you by Shock Doctor. Shock Doctor is the title sponsor for our Now Rankings and will begin to take on an even greater role of sponsorship with YHH in the coming year. Shock Doctor is a local Minnesota company that develops, manufactures, and markets some really cool cutting-edge products. My first impression of Shock Doctor was obviously their mouth guards and protective cups, but over the next year on YHH, you'll learn that their product line across all sports is pretty cool. This week, we did not post staff rankings because there were so few games played because of the Christmas break the past 7 days. In the coming 5 days, hockey teams will more than make up for the 3 to 4 days off for Christmas. Minnesota Hockey posted on their Twitter feed that there were 34 sanctioned tournaments set up over the next 2 weekends. YHH will be doing our best via the site and Twitter to keep people up to speed. We'll be providing wall-to-wall coverage on the Founders Cup in Hibbing, as well as we'll be covering the Dine Invitational 6 tournaments as well. This past weekend, there were a few tourney winners of note. The Madison Whitecaps won the Eagan Border Battle, beating both Eagan Pee Wee B teams, including a 7-person shootout in the semis. The Whitecaps had 8 skaters, and a goalie. Lakeville North beat Eagan Green Sunday for the Bantam B title in Eagan. Champlain Park Squirt B team is undefeated with 17 wins and won the OMG Squirt Extravaganza. Congratulations to them. In the Squirt B's, OMG Gold knocked off OMG Black 3-2 to win that title. And in the Squirt A's, guess what? OMG won and kept their association's long unbeaten streak at Squirt A's alive, beating Rosemount 2-1 on a late Ethan Silerud goal. Minnetonka Black beat North Metro 3-1 to win the North St. Paul Holiday Tournament in Squirt B's, and Wayzata beat Centennial 4-1 in the Squirt A. That is the second straight runner-up finish for the Cougars in a tournament. This summer, YHH will be hosting 3 off-season AAA tournaments called the Summer Series. Teams that participate in all 3 tournaments have a chance to win points towards the winning the entire Summer Series title. Our events are affordable, well-run with live scoring and scoring meters, and YHH will of course be covering these events and live streaming games. So far, we've received great interest from local AAA clubs, regional teams, and Canadian teams. There's a tab on the YHH homepage to learn more about these events. Speaking of tournaments, we'll be announcing the pairings for the YHH Squirtacular presented by Gentry Academy next week live here on 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. This week, we'll be working on our pairings and seedings for the tournament. So please get all your scores into Now Rankings as soon as you can so we can get accurate rankings and pairings. We've seen several top teams like Andover, OMG, Matamidi, and Woodbury in the last couple weeks. Both the Squirt A and B fields look to be wide open. As for the C field, if you were at the Squirtacular last year, all bets are off on the always exciting C level. Speaking of C teams, in the last 3 weeks, we had 3 teams commit and uncommit for the final spot at the C level. If you or anyone you know has an interested C team, please have them send an email to youthhockeyhub@gmail.com. This week's Tweet of the Week comes from an exchange I saw online between two respectable people that I follow. The first was by Peter Russo, a prep school hockey coach in New England, who proudly tweeted, "Players that are committed to winning the little battles that don't warrant instant results or gratification are the ones who win games." Not bad, I get it. Work hard, be selfless. Ryan Hardy, a scout for the U.S. National Program, another guy I respect a lot, responds back quite tongue-in-cheek. "My experience tells me that players who play on teams that score more goals than their opponent are the ones that win games." Ha ha. Touche, Ryan, touche. This week's featured Now prospect is Chase Brand from Park Rapids. The 99 birth year 10th grader has 17 points and leads the Panthers in scoring. We've seen Chase play a few times and are not surprised by her performance at all so far this year. He's a great skater with terrific hands and vision with the puck. Chase is a player that seems to thrive at every level he plays. We've heard from several junior and Division I scouts that they love his game. Sticking with great players, had a chance to see the Matamidi Squirt A team on Sunday. 3 of their players, all of which will be playing in the show next summer on YHH, really stood out. Ryan Chesley is a very talented defenseman who almost is a 4th forward out there. Our player of the game on Sunday was Jack Sweeney, who has hands of gold. He made some great individual plays Sunday, And then finally, Ben Dardis, the goaltender. He was not tested much, but he showed why he is one of the best goalies in Minnesota his age by robbing a few Park Cottage Grove players, one especially on a breakaway. Boom roasted. I hopefully never have to roast myself too often on this show, but this week I earned it. Near the conclusion of one of my son's games this past weekend, my pack of dads were accused of being whiners. My son's team had just put the other team away, and the other team was taking unnecessary liberties. Being called a whiner would be enough to set any normal macho hockey dad off, but I've seen that movie way too many times. But what happened next is what happens when a ref wants to get the game over with versus not calling the first and second cheap shot late in the game. A player in our team gets pummeled from behind as the game came to an end, earning the opposing player a match penalty. As I strolled by the dad who called me a whiner, I briefly lost my cool. For that, I should be roasted, and for that, I apologize to the goalie dad from the other team. Thumbs up. I tweeted this week. Thumbs up to some of the up-and-coming youth associations. Matamidi, Moorhead, Prior Lake, and Sartell all seem to have strong numbers and are highly rated teams at the A and AA levels. Thumbs up to the volunteers and coaches at those associations. Thanks again for tuning in to today's show. We really appreciate all the positive feedback on the show and the website. We will see you around the rink. Have a nice day.